Where is she? Normally I'm the late one. Are you ready, dear?
You ready before me?
I'm just this time only, I'm ready before you.
I'm just trying to finish my breakfast.
I've already finished my breakfast ahead of you.
Oh, but I am ready, and I'm definitely ready to share our Red Lodge flood footage and our Jeep journey on this leg of our summer travels. While in the Grand Tetons, we were aware of the Yellowstone flood status. We kept an eye on the road conditions, and we learned that the entrance into Yellowstone Park would reopen on a day that worked out for us to leave. We actually joined quite a few of our friends. Once we were in line for entrance into the park, we waited and we waited and we waited. We are finally scooting along. There's a song you can sing.
What's the song?
Rollin', rollin',
Rollin', ride, yes. Saving $6 a gallon diesel fuel. Coasting downhill.
Coasting. And then we'll catch up to the crowd here in a moment. Almost there.
They're going to close the park right in front of us, I'm sure.
No, they're not.
We have a string of bad luck. This should just be the one that caps it off.
There's like 4 miles of cars behind us. I don't think that's going to happen. But as soon as we got through that entrance into the park, the drive was easy. The drive was beautiful. It didn't take us long before we were in Cody, where we were doing a supply run. We were totally out of groceries. Then we made our way up to Red Lodge, and we were there well before dinner, where we got served some lovely moose burgers.
She's even got the hair under control.
Yeah, you have to wear a hat for this when you're camping. And you can go days and days and days without washing your hair.
Been national news about all the floods in Yellowstone Park, and some of it covered the floods outside of Gardner down into the Livingston Basin, and some of it covered out of the northeast entrance down to the Red Lodge. And since I grew up in Red Lodge, it was kind of interesting to come back there and see it, because all the time I lived there, we never had the creek come out of the banks. But this time it was bad, and there are houses missing. There are huge sections of riverbank missing. Lots
Roads
and lots
are
of
gone.
gravel just covering people's yards. Pretty amazing, actually. One place, the house was just stuffed full of floating debris that had floated down the river and broken open the wall of the house and just packed the house full of tree branches and rocks, and it was pretty amazing to see what happens.
addition to all the flooding that happened and the damage in the town, the forest was closed because the forest had its own damage it was dealing with and assessing. So our backpacking plans were waylaid, and we could not even find a hike.
We went and talked to the Forest Service, and they basically said because of unknown conditions of bridges, they were literally shutting off the entire forest and even the road up into the area there where we might day hike had been closed because the bridge had been damaged, and they didn't know how many of the bridges on the trails were washed out, which, because I've hiked most of them, I can tell you most of those bridges are probably gone. Everything was closed. There was only one thing left open to us.
We were getting a little stir crazy while we've been hanging out in town and decided to take the Jeep out on a Jeep journey instead. We decide it's time for a Jeep journey. Meeteetse Trail is nearly 18 miles long and runs between Red Lodge and Belfry. The trail began as an Army supply trail in 1881 and then a wagon stagecoach trail bringing the first mail, supplies, and settlers from Meeteetse, Wyoming to Red Lodge, Montana, and was originally called the 100-mile route. Nearly a year ago, the Robertson Draw fire in June 2021 burned nearly 30,000 acres of mountains around Mount Maurice, which is where we are driving. The landscape is no longer crisp and mountain-like, but it is definitely otherworldly. So we're getting ready to leave today, and then this happens. Seems to be a theme.
We had some unscheduled maintenance requirements.
What's going on?
So what we have here are brake pads. This brake pad shows evidence of it being about half or more worn out. This brake pad is completely down to the metal, and you can even see right here where metal was grating against the rotor on the front of the, and I heard it coming into town. So this goes like that, and so you can see the metal was grating on the outside here, and so the rotor is just a little bit scarred right there. And if I were somewhere more convenient, I might have it turned, but it's more difficult to take it off. Anyway, new brake shoes are in order. These brake shoes are about 2 years old, which kind of gives you an indication of how heavy a wear that this vehicle places on vehicle parts because of the weight of the vehicle. But the reason why this happened is because this is the brake caliper here and here, and this is the carrier for the brake caliper. And these two guide bolts right here, this caliper is supposed to adjust and move back and forth. Right now it's locked up in there. It won't move. So it wore one shoe much more than the other. So I've got to get these out and lubricate the connections inside this bolt so that the sliding will occur, so this won't happen again.
Well, we thoroughly enjoyed our stay in Red Lodge. We were mooch stocking.
And we did some upgrades on the Jeep. I put a winch on the Jeep.
And lots of cleaning the laundry, which is a perk of parking in a driveway.
We took care of cats and chickens while our friends were off on their own little vacation.
Fresh eggs.
Lots of fresh eggs.
Lots of fresh eggs. And from here, we are going to migrate south again, back into Wyoming. We are eventually going to land at Steve's brother's place in Rollins, but between here and there, we picked out a couple stops.
Thanks for following our travels and sharing it with your friends. We enjoy relaying our meandering shenanigans with you all, and hopefully we're going to run into some better opportunities here as we get away from the flood damage.
But if you had any direct experience with the flood or were traveling and got waylaid, drop a comment below and share with us your experience.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.